Tutor, where school is made simple. Let's go.
When factoring polynomials, one easy method to use is what's known as the first and second looks. So we start out with a basic polynomial x squared plus bx plus c. And in doing so, we identify a couple things. This is my first look. And then this is my second look. And we're going to see how we apply these. In the first look, if my operation there is positive, then I know that my two operations must be either both positive or both negative, because the only way to make a positive is two positives multiplied times each other or two negatives multiplied times each other. If my first look is negative, then I know my resulting operations are going to be plus and minus. Now I'm going to hold off on introducing what the second look does at this time because the second look is going to depend on the first look. So let's jump in and look at an example. If we were to start with x squared minus 7x minus 18, and I'm going to start again with my first look. My first look is negative, which tells me that my two operations are going to be plus and minus. So when I go to factor this, I'm going to have x plus and x minus. Now I'm going to take my constant and look at its factor pairs. The factors of 18 are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Now I bring down my first look. Subtraction. So I simply do 18 minus 1, which is 17, 9 minus 2, which is 7, and 6 minus 3, which is 3. Then I look at my middle term. Which one of these three numbers matches my middle term? 17 and negative 7 do not match. 7 and 7 match. And 3 and 7 do not match. So then I know I'm going to use 2 and 9 in here. Now, here is what I look at. If my first look is negative, then my second look tells me the sign of the bigger number. Okay, in this case, my second look is negative, so that tells me that the bigger number has to be negative. So I'm going to put my 9 here, since that's negative, and I'm going to put my 2 here. Now I'm going to confirm this by multiplying out x plus 2 and then x minus 9. X times x gives me x squared. X times 2 gives me 2x. Negative 9 times x gives me negative 9x. And then negative 9 times 2 gives me negative 18. I use this method so that I know the diagonals are going to give me the proper grouping. So my result here is going to be x squared, and then minus 9x plus 2x is minus 7x, and then minus 18. Notice that this matches our answer up here, so we know that our factoring is correct. Now what do we do if our first look is positive? Well, let's look at this. If I have x squared minus 16x plus 63. Well, my first look is positive, which means plus plus or minus minus. In this case, when my first look is positive, then the second look will tell me which operation is in each of the components. So in this case, when I factor this out, I know I'm going to have x and x. And now my first look is positive, so I look at my second look and it's negative. And because it's negative, I know both of these are going to be negative. If my second look were positive, then both of these would be positive. Now I come back and I take a look at my constant again, 63. Well, 63, its factor pairs are 1 and 63, 3 and 21, and then 7 and 9. My first look is positive, so I'm going to put that here. And then I'm going to add 1 and 63, I get 64. 3 and 21 gives me 24. And then 7 and 9 gives me 16. The set of numbers that match my middle term over here are 16. And since both operations internally are the same, this is going to be x minus 7, x minus 9. And we can confirm this again by setting up our tables. Okay. X times x will give me x squared. X times negative 7 will give me negative 7x. Negative 9 times x will give me negative 9x. And then finally, negative 9 times negative 7 will give me positive 63. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. And I'm going to see that we get x squared. Negative 9x plus negative 7x is minus 16x plus 63. This matches my original, so now I can simply confirm that my factoring is x minus 7 and then x minus 9. Now, will this work with every solution, with every polynomial? No, it will not work with every polynomial. If we had something, for example, x squared minus 4x plus 7. When I look at this, my first look is positive. Which is going to tell me either plus plus or minus minus. Now at this point, I go to my second look. My second look is negative. So that tells me that it's going to be minus and minus. At this point, we go to our constant, which is 7. We have our first look over here, the plus, and now we're going to look at our factors. 7 factors out to only 1 and 7 because it's prime. If I add 1 plus 7 because our first look is positive, then that gives me 8. 8 does not match our middle term. So what we know is that this will not factor out using this method. We're going to have to get a little bit more creative with this.